At exactly 12 noon on January 20th, Donald Trump will raise his right hand and swear for the second time to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States that he assaulted and attacked on January 6th. This is the warning. The American people have made a judgment, and they have given Donald Trump power again. The reason that Donald Trump was elected overwhelmingly was because of the ego of Joe Biden, who promised that he would not run for a second term, but did, and in doing so, made certain that the country would experience Donald Trump's retribution and revenge. I could talk about this all day and all night, but the fact of the matter is, the victory of Donald Trump was preordained the moment Joe Biden broke his promise. It's as simple as that. It's important for everybody to understand, who has followed politics deeply, transactionally, off and on, that the Democratic Party has held itself out as the better party. Not the party with better ideas, though that has been argued, but the more moral party. The party that remained committed and faithful to the concepts that Donald Trump was assaulting with his threats, with his promises of retribution, with his actions that did not accept the result of a presidential election, which frankly is the cornerstone around which our society is built. There was no fraud. Joe Biden ran and he won fair and square. He was talked about as the better man. But more than anything else, and more than any place else, MSNBC became home base to a very important argument about the primacy and the necessity for the rule of law to reign supreme in a democracy. And there is something special about the American justice system. We've talked about it for 9 years. Just listen to some of the comments about it on MSNBC.
I've been a defense lawyer and a prosecutor. It's just so hard to see because it's so antithetical to the rule of law.
This level of sustained public attack is not usually the price of entry for doing your job as a district attorney, nor should it be in a country where the rule of law is supposedly the rule.
The test for all of us is, are we up to obeying the rule of law, even when it goes away we may not like?
The history of the rule of law in this country tells us that the rule of law does not magically defend itself. And it is mortal. It can be killed. When it is attacked, it breaks.
Think about this comment from Jen Psaki, who walked out of the White House job and into an anchor seat at a cable news network, delivering the party line.
But Joe Biden's character as a public servant is what drove him to make clear that the law applies to everyone. His decision not to pardon his son is not an expression of restraint or removal in any way from what his son has gone through and is continuing to go through, but of principle. Because the justice system that convicted his only surviving son is the same justice system he's vowed to protect. And if that doesn't tell you who Joe Biden is, I don't really know what does.
There was this famous moment, of course, with Joe Scarborough telling the American people what he thought of them when the American people observed Joe Biden's incapacity.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
But over and over again, the rule of law, the rule of law, the rule of law.
I take great pride in what's happened because I feel it's such a sweet vindication of the rule of law and all of the complicated parts of it that frustrate people because it slows things down.
The rule of law and the health of our democracy depend not just on the conduct of this criminal case, but on our ability as citizens to take this with the sort of heft that it needs.
I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution and the rule of law.
Our great democracy, our norms, all of these things. Let's look at this person, Molly Jong-Fast, who is a contributor, commentator, paid to comment about politics by MSNBC, by the Daily Beast, by Vanity Fair. This is Molly Jong-Fast talking about the rule of law.
So Biden has this opportunity here to say, this is how the law works. And if this jury of his peers finds him guilty, that is how justice is supposed to work.
And then she's asked about the Hunter Biden pardon.
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
Why is she a commentator about politics? Why isn't she interning at the DNC or on a campaign? What is that? This idea that you'll reverse on a dime your position because the leader does it? It kind of reminds me of a criticism that we've been making for a long time against, him, the Trump Hitler. We live in a ludicrous and utterly fraudulent time. Soon the American people are going to experience an utterly radical administration asserting power without restraint with the clear aim of achieving profound transformation of the country, claiming a mandate they don't actually have. We'll see how it all goes 120 days from now. But there's a simple truth that Democrats need to understand. In a choice between two corrupt parties, even if one of them is more benign than the other, what will be evaluated is which of the two corrupt parties is stronger than the other. And the MAGA party, the Republican Party, will always be viewed as the stronger party, and the Democrats the weaker one, because they are. And their constant trampling by the stronger party indicates that. Now, some Democratic strategists have taken to X and other places to say it's time to get mean. It's time to be like Trump. After 9 years of fighting him, staring into the abyss, the takeaway is, let's become Trump. It's disgraceful, and it's disgusting, and it's a loser. Because the only way to beat Trump is to be better than Trump. And it really doesn't matter what the Democrats are saying right now in the moment, defending the indefensible about this pardon, about Joe Biden's dishonesty, shamelessness, his absolute egotism, because Joe Biden's legacy is going to be too heavy for Democrats to carry. On January 20th, Democrats will be starting off on a long march, uphill. Now, the Biden legacy is a rock, a heavy one. And some Democrats want to carry that heavy rock in their backpack. They want to keep pretending this is an honest man, a man of rectitude and probity. Squandered that, a man who puts the country first. He flushed that away. It's a man whose legacy has been reduced to but a single word, Trump. And so Democrats will set up off that hill with that rock in their backpack, but they will all drop it. They'll drop it pretty quick because the hike will be too arduous to carry. The hypocrisy is unsustainable. How did Trump win? He's very, very lucky with his opposition. It's not honest. And Donald Trump thrives in the swamp of dishonesty, where he is unbeatable. He breathes in the hypocrisy and the smugness and the sanctimony. For 9 long years, the American people have been preached to about the rule of law. And then, just like that. And now, everyone is supposed to, what? Clown themselves? The most pathetic thing about it is the road it leads back to and takes Democrats down. The justification that Trump made us do it. What Donald Trump has done is reveal every single person in American public life with him, against him before they're for him before they're against him, and for him again. Every single person has been revealed by Trump for who they truly are. Everybody got to be who they were meant to be. Every coward has been painted yellow. Every hypocrite is dyed in fluorescent orange. They can be seen, all of them, from outer space. And there has been a fiction that the opposition was good and decent and virtuous. Truth is, Molly Jong Fast is out on tour with the principal of a super PAC that over the last 4 years has raised $55 million and pocketed 89 cents of it and called it democracy. The grifters, the frauds, the spineless, principleless capitulants who lead the Democratic Party that have authored and given the country what is about to come deserve and have earned the disdain of us all. The key to defeating Donald Trump and Trumpism and MAGA has always been offering something better, not a diet version of his indecency, cooked a little lighter, a little healthier, and a little less indecently. It is the foundation of the catastrophe at hand. The defeat of the Democratic Party by Donald Trump in 2024 was not preordained. It was written by Joe Biden and a small group of people and their titanic arrogancies. I thought things were going to be bad. It's going to be a lot worse than I thought. What a depressing day for Trump's opposition. This country deserves a decent one, not a callow one. And the Democratic Party that will come back and defeat this man, this cause, his vice president, when he's the nominee 4 years from now, will leave all of this behind. Shame on every single person who has justified this after condemning Lindsey Graham and everyone like him for almost a decade. Because when the moment came, you're Lindsey Graham. No words. Truly, no words. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.